The original lesson plan was created by Jane Harlow. The focus of this project is on negative space or unoccupied space. The materials that you're going to need are reference photos, drawing paper, pencils, scraps of collaging material, glue sticks, spray paint, stencils, tracing paper, and or scissors. Welcome to the art project. We're going to do a project where we focus on the negative space. I like to put a 1-inch border on pretty much every project I do. One, it makes it look a little more professional sometimes. Two, it gives the framer a place to mat and frame the picture. After you get the 1-inch border on it, you're going to draw the stools. I have probably provided a reference photo for students to draw from. If you don't have this, you can use a still life of stools or other similar object. After that, I outline everything in Sharpie. I'm using just the fine point Sharpie here. I would like to interrupt this video for a moment to show you an important technique. These are little paint samples you can get from Lowe's or any place that sells paint. Some paper that was bought in the scrapbooking section. I have a sort of an obsession with collecting envelopes. That pattern is usually different and interesting. Comic book pages, map pages. This is a piece of paper that I painted, a bunch of watercolor and wax crayon to create a resist. And to do my collage, I use tracing paper. Alright, let's say that I want to glue something into this image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of tracing paper, I'm going to put it right here down in the very bottom corner because I don't want to waste tracing paper. And I am going to trace this with a pencil. Now I'm laying this on pretty hard and pretty thick. I don't want to just lightly cover it because I'm going to use this to transfer, and if the pencil is not thick on this side, then it won't transfer thick or dark enough onto the other piece of paper. Now I have pencil on this side of the paper, and you can see the pencil through this side, but there's not actually any pencil on this side. So keep that in mind. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this piece to the side for a minute. I'm going to take this piece of paper that I want to cut out of, and I'm going to open it up to the back. And I'm going to put this tracing paper on top of it, but upside down. So if you remember, the pencil was on this side, not this side. And I'm going to lay this down onto the paper. Again, I don't want to waste a lot of paper, so I'm going to actually cut this out of the corner. And I'm just going to trace this again. I trace it right on top of that pencil. If you don't trace it on top of the pencil that's on the other side, it will not transfer. And I'm going to lift this up a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. See how this line transferred to there? Tracing paper is just a really handy tool for artists to have in the studio or in the classroom. Alright, so there is the stapler. Now you might be asking, how do you cut that out? Well, there's a couple of ways to do it. One, you can fold this, make a little slit, and then you can get your scissors in there to cut. And this is not that difficult a task. Alright, now let's see how well it fits into the picture. Here's the original picture that I traced. Here is the collage piece that I cut out. Let's glue it down. And I'm going to get glue all over this thing. I'm basically trying to turn this into a sticker. You know how when you get a sticker, there is adhesive all over the back of the sticker? I want there to be adhesive all over the back of this picture because I don't want it to peel up. Lower this thing down into place. There you go. And that is how I use tracing paper to do this. Just take some tracing paper, which is kind of hard to see in this picture, but there's tracing paper. And I'm going to trace all of the negative spaces one at a time. And I'm going to transfer that negative space shape to another object. Here I have an envelope that has an interesting pattern on the inside. I flip the envelope upside down and I trace the negative space shape onto the back of it. Because I have to flip the tracing paper over in order for it to transfer. So I'll also flip over the actual collage material. It may take you some trial and error to get this right, but it's an important step. Also, a very important step is to make sure that you glue down the entire piece. Don't just put a little bit of glue on it and then hope it stays. Make sure that the back is covered in glue all the way to the edges, and then press it down nice into the negative space. I find a lot of students sometimes forget to actually press it down. They will lay it on there and then they don't spread it out or press it down on the edges. So you're going to do this with every space available. The way I did it, you don't have to do it this way, but the way I did it was I tried to cover up the entire negative space with one layer of collage material, in this case envelope patterns and painted paper. I've got some paper that I painted a long time ago that I use for collage material. It's just got a lot of texture and watery paint and things like that. But I like to cover the entire space first, and then I will come back on top of it and add more collage layers. Again, make sure that you cut it to fit, and make sure that you put plenty of glue on the surface. Back to our regular scheduled programming. Once you have every piece of negative space covered, you can go back and you can add more collage material. The way that I did this was that I put a piece of map in like 3 or more places, I put a piece of envelope in 3 or more places, and I put the painted collage paper in 3 or more places. So then I came back with some more of this painted paper. This is an orange piece with some bubble wrap printed into it, and I tore pieces off of it and started gluing it in random places that didn't already have some of this orange paper, which was pretty much all of it. I tried to make it fit the same way I did the other pieces, but it was smaller. Then I took some of the map that I had glued in some of the other places, and I tore and ripped and cut it so that it would fit into other random places. This way it gives the entire work of art sort of a sense of unity. After I did that, I traced everything with Sharpie again. This time I'm using a large chisel tip Sharpie. There it is, not finished. It is not finished here. I'm going to add some spray paint to it. After this, we're going to add a spray paint layer, something to soften the positive space and give a little bit extra strength to the negative space, or unoccupied space. Don't overdo the spray paint. You don't want to completely block out the painting underneath. So there it is in its finished state. Love the way it turned out. I hope you enjoy doing yours. Now it's your turn. Go make some art.